So I'm going to show you how to make a pattern from an existing garment, which we're going to deconstruct, and chosen a child's shirt. And I've chosen a child's shirt because it's quite a small garment and should allow us to do this quite, well, it's a lot faster than we would if we were doing a bigger product. So you start with your scalpel, and I'm taking off the button. I'm going to detach the collar from the main body by using my scalpel. I mean, you could use a quick unpick for this, but if you're a bit precise with the knife, this should be a bit faster. So, unpick, like so, and it should be quite straightforward to do. And the whole thing, that's a special sewing technique of these products, you can just take one section of the, remove one section of the stitching, and the whole collar should come off. That's modern technology and manufacturing for you, isn't it? Quite precise. So, it's actually it's a bit trickier working with a smaller garment. Not so much to grab onto with my big hands. Okay, so we're nearly there. So that's the collar off. We'll put the shirt aside, and as you can see, the shape of the collar, it's nicely curved because it's fitting around a neck, a three-dimensional object, obviously not flat. But this is a two-part collar. You've got the top section here, and then we've got the lower part of the collar, which is actually called a collar stand. So to make the pattern, we need to separate the collar from the collar stand. So use the knife again, holding so, carefully cut into here, open it, and cut. It's the same principle with the collar stand and removing the collar from the shirt. One row of stitching secures the front and the back. It makes it much easier to unpick. Ta-da! Okay, so we'll get back to the collar stand, and there we got the collar. This is getting exciting, isn't it, for you? I can tell. Now what they have done is they've done a little stay stitch at the base here, which we had to remove, and that's necessary if you want to keep the front and back of the collar secure before you attach it to the collar stand. No slip sliding away. So, that out, and fingers will do adequately for getting all these stitches out. I think you can tell I've done this before, unpicking. Though I have to say I prefer to make a totally new product up than to mend and unpick. Sometimes this is necessary, as it is today. Okay, so back to the matter at hand. I'll unpick the bit of stop stitching. But before I continue, let's see if I can get into the collar through the seam here, and then just cut stitching. So now I'm going to do two jobs at once. We're going to remove the top stitching and the holding stitch in one go without shredding the collar to pieces, of course. It's not going to be helpful, useful. Ta-da. And back to the end of the collar, and we only need one piece to make the pattern. So there we are, collar's been separated. I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to give it a press so it's nice and flat, and then we'll start the tracing process. See you in a bit.